So to warm up, there are a couple different things I do that I've actually learned recently, is just to get a piece of paper, a pencil, and you just fill it up with circles and lines and just kind of loosen up your arm a little bit. I don't use my wrist, I'm using my whole arm. So to make a circle, I haven't even touched the paper yet, I'm just moving the motion, and then I'll touch the pencil down to the paper and I'll just make circles. And I'll make circles inside of circles, around circles, and I'm just big, small, just using my whole arm. My wrist is not moving, it is my arm that is making the circles. I'm waking up my drawing muscles and I'm just kind of filling the whole paper like this. Once I feel like my circles are pretty, I mean, they're not perfect circles. I am a human, I can't draw perfect circles unless I really spend my time. I'm doing this as quickly as possible, just making some circles, overlapping some, just waking up that arm. If I fill the paper with circles, I then move to what are called ellipses, or like an oval. It is a flattened circle. So I'll just start to make some quick ellipses going in different directions. Here, I'll show you on the other side what that looks like so you can kind of see. Typically, I usually do my warm-ups on one side and my beginning sketches on the other side, but I'll do this for you. So see how my ellipses are kind of squished, and the object of this is try to get what's called like a perfect ellipse. So if I were to divide this down the middle, it's actually symmetrical. But again, it's just warming up, so if they don't look weird and they look more like a jelly bean or a kidney bean or any other bean you can name, then that's fine. We're just warming up that muscle again, not using my wrist to draw this part, just warming up my arm to say, hey, I'm about to do some drawing, you ready? And then I go into some lines going in different directions. I'll do vertical, going as fast as possible. And I want to get them what's called as parallel, so they're trying to almost line up perfectly. Again, when you're warming up, they're not going to be perfect, and that's okay. I'm just getting that muscle all warmed up. Now that I'm feeling a little bit looser, yeah, okay. I've filled up some paper with some warm-up stuff. Again, I usually do the ellipse, circles, and the lines all on one side, but I wanted you to see what it looked like. And then I'm ready to do either some sort of blind contour or a one-line drawing. So let me show you what a blind contour looks like and what a one line drawing looks like. A contour, because you're like, well, hold up. You're about to show me something new, and I don't know what a contour means. Contour is just a fancy word that just is the outline of an item. It is just using lines to make what you're looking at, or in a drawing. It is not detailed. I mean, it is detailed, excuse me. It is detailed, but it is not colored in. It doesn't have value in it. It is just the lines, like the still life drawing I did on my Break the Fear watercolor paper. It is just the outlines. It is just the lines and shapes that you see, but I didn't fill it in with shadow. I didn't fill any highlights in. I didn't add any color. The only color that's there is the background, but that is an example of a contour. It is just the outline drawing of an item. Some people really like to do one of the first contour things I've done, and what a lot of other artists start with a contour drawing, is a small piece of candy, because it's a simple shape. So that's just a thought. Anyways, so a blind contour drawing is when you draw an item without looking at it. And so for that warm up, I'm gonna do a jar of sauce. I'm gonna put it right in front of me. And the only thing I'm looking at is my item. I'm looking at this. I'm not looking at my actual drawing. I cannot look at the drawing. That's the whole point, is I'm trying to draw it without looking at the drawing. So you can either like close your eyes, or you just look up at the ceiling instead of your paper, or look just at the object, not looking at the paper. So it's kind of hard because I have a camera open. But I'm going to start to draw, and I can lift my pencil for this, so I can move around the paper, but you kind of also want to make sure you know where you are. So let's see. I see a circle at the top, and then it kind of comes around like this, And then it goes like this. And I see there's the label with the logo and the type of sauce it is. There's some words over here. There's a nutritionist thing over here, and it's filled with the sauce. I think, oh, should I try to do the logo? Actual, it's like a big C. It has like a little ribbon on it. I think, oh, hold up. I forgot to do oh, there's like lines up here at the top. That like, you know, that all tops have to kind of like grip it. Okay, there's like a little pressure thing up here that shows when it's popped, it's been open. I think I got it all. What does it look like? I think I'm done so I can finally look at it. Okay. Oh my goodness. So the logo actually doesn't look that bad. It's a little bit bigger than the rest of the sauce, but I say that's pretty successful for a blind contour drawing. Like, so it's not gonna look beautiful. It's just to kind of get your right brain working. We're getting your left side to be quiet while drawing. Right side is we're gonna draw what we see. The left side of the brain tends to do a thing where it's like, let's draw what it should look like and help. So the left side of your brain breaks down an object, and when you go to draw it using your left side of your brain, you're going to draw what you think it should look like. So you think a jar kind of looks like this, right? Kind of the basic shape. Look at a basic jar. But when you look at this jar, that's not what this jar really looks like. So our left brain is saying, this is what the jar looks like. It's the simplest way to show another person that you've drawn a jar, but your right side of the brain goes, no, we're gonna draw what we see actually in front of us. And this kind of helps us break off that, or just to shut down the left brain for a second, just go, let's have some fun, let's loosen up, try to draw what you see, and then you'll see it doesn't look exactly the same, but you know what? That is okay. It's just a fun object. There are fun activity. There are some artists out there that are really good at this, and I don't know how they do it, but it's really cool. So you might have to look those up on your own. Anyways, a one-line drawing is I'm gonna do the drawing of the jar again, but this time I cannot pick up my pencil. The pencil has to stay on the paper, and you are allowed to look at this one. If you want to combine them together to make a blind contour drawing that is only made with one line, that would be kind of cool. Maybe I'll try that on the other side of this paper. So let's see, I can't pick up my pencil, so I think I want to start at the bottom of the jar, and I'm gonna come kind of, oh, I already lifted my pencil. Already did what I'm not supposed to do. So I'm going to kind of goes around like this, comes up. That's a little too much, but that's okay. It's gonna go around like this for the top of the, ooh, the top of the jar is way too big. But this, okay, all right. I'm gonna go back so I can do, these are those grippy lines that are at the top of the jar. And it kind of comes out this way. So I gotta redraw this line, because there we go, that's a little bit more like it. Kind of just, and then come back down. Gotta do the label. Oh, there's a little dot here. There we go. And comes over. And there is the nutrition bar right here. I still see that. And then, oh look at, there's like the tomatoes there. I can use that as a way to get from here. There's a tomato, and a tomato, tomato, and then it turns into the label for the type of sauce that it is. Oh yeah. And I can go marinara sauce, like I'll pretend to do some writing. And then I'll come back up, and then there's the tomato here, and then that comes to the circle. It has the label, and it's kind of cursive anyway, so I can get away with that. Now the only, because I've connected it here, I then can come over here. There's a picture of a person, and then there's words here. Okay. Oh! I did that without lifting my pencil. Except for, I mean, the first time I did. I did erase it though, so it's okay. But yeah, so I just did a contoured line drawing, and I never lifted my pencil, and I actually, look at that. Those are pretty cool. This one's pretty good, actually. And I love the blind contour drawings. I think they're so silly and so fun. And kind of like a weird way, so freeing, because it like reminds you that we're still learning how to draw. And if your drawing looks better than this, then you're already off to a good start, right? Like, look at, this is pretty good. And I'm pretty proud of that. And like, I started here, just saying. Anyways, that's awesome. I'm gonna now get myself all set up to be able to show you how to now, because we've all warmed up, we are ready to do a little bit more observational drawings with a still life. All right, so in this section, I'm going to show you how to draw objects that are in real life into the basic shapes that you can see in them. Because when I was editing my still life video, I realized I was showing you how I measured things and how I placed them on the paper, but I didn't realize I didn't explain to you how to break them down. So in this video, I wanted to add that back in because I was showing you how to do the warm-ups, I was showing you how to do the blind contour drawings, I was showing you how to do the one-line drawing, and I was like, oh, this will be the perfect video to add that, how to break an item down into its basic shape. So in this still life video I made, I referenced how using a stuffed animal can be a really great way to start because it already has its basic shapes really, how do I want to say this? They're really there to really show you, because to make a stuffed animal, you have to really break it down into basic shapes to put it all together. So I grabbed a stuffed animal that was near me, which is Hedwig, and I'm going to show you right now how I'm going to draw Hedwig in this position on my paper and looking for the basic shapes. So when we look at Hedwig, here I'll move her so that she's more like right head on with the camera. You can see that this tail is a basic shape. It's almost like a square that has been a rounded off edge. So to me, it actually reminds me of one of those, like a fudgesicle shape. It's a square with a rounded edge. The body is pretty much kind of like another square that has just rounded edges, so I could draw a square with rounded edges. We have an oval head, and the eyes are circular. If we look closer, they are a circle. Her beak we could probably make from head on. It looks almost like a diamond shape. And then the wings we could break down into kind of like a leaf shape, which is a very organic shape, or we could try to break it down into two geometric shapes, which to me would be a circle and then a triangle, and then we'd kind of curve it out. So because she has two wings, I'll do both of them and we'll see which works best. So we'll slide her back over here. And I like to start with a head because when we are working with drawing people, you usually start with a head because the head is how you count or measure how big a body is. So I'm going to try to do that. I'm going to look at her, and her head is, I'm going to say her head is this big, meaning her whole body might not be able to fit on my paper, but that is okay. If I want to go smaller to get her all on there, I will. Ooh, actually, I think I will. Move it just a little bit over because we gotta fit all the wings too. So I'll move it over and make it a little bit smaller. So we have a circle or an oval, and if I'm looking, I can definitely see this side a little bit more, which is kind of like a circular shape. And I know this one's here somewhere, so I'm just gonna mark it. And we have like her beak kind of is doing like a weird triangle shape, and it's below these eyes, but definitely above where her body and neck meet. And then we got her body is pretty big. And I'm gonna do kind of like a square shape. Again, that's the shape I'm saying is a square, and I can just round out the edges. Her tail is that square, and it kind of almost matches up with the bottom fully, but like is slightly in, so I think. And then we have the rounded edge here. Her feet are above that and in front of the tail, so like I can go behind her feet and still be in front of this, but behind her feet. So her feet are like kind of two triangles together with some claws. Oh, this is actually kind of like a circular, maybe it's more like a cylinder shape that come together. And this one is behind, this one is behind this. I'm going to draw the same. It's kind of like a bendy cylinder. And then that toe is behind that one and meets up with the bottom of the tail. And then we got the claws. And then we have left over will be the wings. So just kind of solidifying her body shape, and there are some lines right here. So her wings we could either do kind of like they are attached at the side, so they're not really, they wouldn't be touching up here. They're gonna be kind of right here to right here, and you can either do kind of like the organic shape of like a leaf, which kind of looks, because I know it rounds out like that, or we could do is do kind of like a circle first and then a triangle. So breaking it down into an organic shape or two geometric shapes, and then just outlining where the shapes, like the outside of the shape. So I did the circle, triangle, and I knew this was a curved edge, and I just traced the outside of the circle, the outside of the triangle, and curved out the top, and where they connect, where the triangle and circle connect. And that is basically breaking it down into basic shapes. And it's not fully, doesn't look fully proportional to what I drew here, or proportional to what is here on Hedwig, but it is a start of breaking it down into its basic shape, so I can kind of start to really, then I can go in and add the details, or really go in and start using my measuring tools that I would for a still life. But this is how to break your animal or break any sort of object down into shape. We could do that with, the closest item to me right now is a weight. We could break it down. This is a square, this is a square. We could call this just like a cylinder. Yes, it has these cool dips and stuff, but the basic shape that's there, we could outline as a cylinder and so forth. So this week, either you may practice a blind contour drawing, you may do some one-line drawings, you can just draw one simple item and break it down into its basic shape, or you can create a still life, which if you do the still life video or do your own still life, I would definitely take some time and watch a little bit of the still life drawing that I did. It's a really, really long video, but it really breaks down how I make a still life. So have some fun and good luck with this week's challenge.